Thursday, he will lay out his plan for putting Americans back to work in a nationally televised speech. The current jobs crisis started after a major meltdown in housing. And this past week, reports surfaced that the Obama administration was considering a new plan to reduce foreclosures. I'm joined now live by Democratic Congressman Dennis Cardoza of California. Representative Cardoza, good Sunday morning to you. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Alex.
Look, I want to talk first of all about your area. Your area, you represent Merced, but that whole Stockton, Merced, Modesto area in Central California consistently ranks among the top 10 of the hardest hit cities in this nation. I mean, what's it like in your backyard?
Well, we've been devastated. I represent hardworking Americans. This started out with subprime loans, but it has gone to the general population. And 60% of our homeowners are underwater on their mortgages.
60%? Wow.
It's 12% are behind 90 days or more in paying their mortgage. That equates with America, where 8% are behind, and nearly 25% of Americans are underwater on their mortgages currently.
Yeah. Okay, you have your own plan to address the housing crisis in order to try to help with employment, as if there's a domino effect here. Explain this connection and what you want to do.
Well, I believe that we're not going to get over this employment crisis until we deal with the housing crisis. There's a crisis in confidence of America. People aren't going to want to spend money if their house is underwater or they're at risk of foreclosure. So I believe that we need to help people refinance their mortgages. I have a proposal that will do that. Right now, 25% of Americans are locked in. They can't go to their bank and refinance because they don't have enough equity. My proposal would allow government-backed mortgages, the ones that we already are responsible for if they foreclose, would allow them to refinance without an appraisal at the same amount that we already guarantee, and lower their payments from the 7% payment to the 4% area, extend it for 40 years, reduce their payments, and keep people in their houses. And
you keep it at these really low single-digit fixed rates. I mean, there'll be none of these variables,
That's right?
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
So in Washington, with your plan, what is the feedback from your colleagues?
Well, a number of my colleagues in the House are very supportive. Senator Boxer has a very similar measure in the Senate. We believe that this could pass, but it needs the President to come forward very strongly and advocate for this kind of solution as well. The programs the administration has put forward to date have not worked at all, and we need some real movement here, and I'm looking for it in his speech on Thursday night. Yeah,
can you give me a sense of how many jobs you think might be created were the housing market to bounce back?
Well, Moody's and others have done studies about my proposal, and it is the equivalent of a tax cut of $50 to $85 billion. So I think that we all talk about how stimulative tax cuts can be. Well, that kind of impetus and stimulus to the economy, I think, would be just what the doctor ordered to get this economy moving again.
Why do you think it has taken so long? I mean, people, if you look at the economic advisors and analysts from way back at the beginning, we're talking 2008, they were saying the housing market is the epicenter of all of this problem. We're pushing 3 years now since this thing started.
Well, let me tell you about something that happened this week in the halls of Congress. I ran to a lobbyist there from the financial services industry, and he said he didn't like my bill because his bondholders would have to go from 7% interest that they're currently receiving to 4%. And I said, well, isn't that people's right to refinance and get a better mortgage for themselves? And they said, hey, look, we've been making business decisions based on 7%. We don't want you to let people get a 4% mortgage instead. Frankly, I'm not so worried about Wall Street. I'm worried about the average American who are just trying to save their house, keep their family together in the home, live the American dream. That's what I care about, not the bankers on Wall Street.
Okay. Democratic Congressman Dennis Cardoza there of California. Good luck. Thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you, Alex.
In these tough economic times, few of us would pass up the opportunity to pick up a few extra